So I wanted to ask, what challenges do you encounter when you're implementing these sustainable practices, and how do you overcome them so that someone who's interested in that can, learn something?
So there are a number of challenges. Number one is, and I feel like is the biggest challenge, is just the lack of information and lack of awareness from our consumers and even other industry players on what is sustainable fashion. Why should I buy from a sustainable brand? Why should I pay extra for for slow fashion or wait 10 days? Like one of the ways as well that we zero waste is we have a pre-order model. So if you order from us today, we're gonna make the garment within 10 days. So we don't have dead stock. And dead stock most of the time ends up in landfills. So that's what we've been avoiding. Okay, so there's the awareness, there's the little information there is, though now I'm seeing there's more information than when we started a year ago. The other challenge is the cost of going sustainable. If you're buying from local manufacturers, say you're buying cotton and you want good cotton, you're gonna have to pay a bit more. If you're ensuring that you have fair labor practices, in that you're paying your workers fairly and treating them with respect, good working hours, you're gonna have to, you know, spend a little bit more than you would if you are in fast fashion. Fast fashion, and I say this a lot, fast fashion is quick and they manage to sell at those prices because they are paying their workers so poorly that they can manage to sell a top for $5 and still make a profit. So you can imagine what the workers are being paid. Um, so apart from the financial struggles and the awareness, I'd like to say that there's been little innovation for sustainable fashion as well. I do believe some research still needs to be done. Assistance from the government in terms of supporting the cotton industries and even other industries in the sustainable supply chain would be really useful. So I'll just leave those for now.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yeah.
as you've mentioned, quick fashion is something that's really big, and people tend to lean towards quick fashion compared to the sustainable fashion. So, as
Yeah.
a made in Kenya brand, how do you think your brand could play in a role in shaping the future of African fashion?
I love that question because I believe we can each make an impact, not just me as Zia or Zia Africa. I believe even everyone who is here can start by educating people on the importance of sustainable fashion. That's the number one thing we're trying to do. Why is it important for you to buy from a sustainable brand? Why should you reduce your impact on the environment? And I find like if every individual just makes this conscious decision, then we can really make a difference in the industry. I also believe that we are promoting and creating jobs for women and local artisans, not just as a sustainable fashion brand, but as made in Kenya brands. I believe manufacturing is one of the biggest employers in Kenya. So through job creation, we are shaping the future of the fashion industry and also promoting our culture. There's lots of brands, including ourselves, do a lot of export. Um, People love our iconic prints. They love the brass jewelry. So it's all about, I guess, being intentional and knowing your why. For me, one of the biggest goals I have is to employ 1,000 tailors by 2040. And I believe the only way this can happen is if, number one, our community supports us and people buy from brands such as Zia, Made in Kenya brands, sustainable brands. And number two, ensuring that the creative economy and the local economy is supported. So that means that you choose to shop local as opposed to buying from, other brands and keep the domestic economy going. So there's a lot I can say around that topic. And I believe as Zia Africa, we're pivoting. We're taking a stand that not many brands are willing to take just because of, you know, the fear, I think, and also the lack of information there is. But I believe within the next 5, 10 years, most brands will have to be sustainable because our consumers will be asking for more. And even now, we have a physical location at Village Market, and many customers come in and ask, which fabric is this? Or where is this made? And those are questions that we never used to get 3, 4 years ago. So the fact that people are actually aware and they're aware of their choices, I believe is great and is impactful in this movement towards making sustainable fashion our future.
As you, I'm sure you're aware that Zia is actually one of the recognized brands in Kenya. So my question to you is, how do you plan to expand Zia Africa's influence beyond Kenya and into the broader African market?
Well, first, I love what uh, movements such as Building African Fashion are doing. Creating platforms where we can speak about what we're doing is a great step towards um, creating awareness on Zia and our Made in Kenya sustainable brand. Number two, we're already shipping worldwide. So we ship anywhere in the world. I think what I would like to do in the near future is attend more pop-ups. I'm interested in just testing different markets. I'd love to test markets in Ghana, in the UK, Uganda, and just see how the different fashion industries are there and if there's opportunities for brands like myself to expand to those markets.
My next question is on how Zia's Africa's core value, one of the core values is women's empowerment.
Mhm.
So, could you please share more about how this principle is reflected in your operations and your team dynamics?
So we employ 90% women. I'd like to even say 99% um, women. And the reason I chose women, or the reason I feel passionately about women empowerment, is for a long time, women have been sidelined. And I believe it's now that we just have to take up space. We have to take up space. We have to, you know, create income for ourselves that can impact our households and livelihoods. I believe it's not just about creating employment. So we have 90% of our employees as women. We also have slogan t-shirts and hoodies, if you check our website, that have this lovely catchphrases like, actually, I can, girls can do anything. I believe those are affirmations that we should always have as women to just navigate this society that is very patriarchal and that we as women can learn the power and the impact we can have on our society. Yeah.
When you're trying to implement this core value, are there any
Mhm.
challenges or setbacks you normally face when you're trying to empower women and also still maintain your brand?
Mm. I believe one of the major challenges women have is balance. So most of my tailors are mothers, their wives, and they're also what do I say? They're also employees. So sometimes you'll find like maybe their child is sick, they have to stay home. Or maybe the child is going to school, they're the ones who have to take the day off to tend to them. So I feel like one of the major challenges women have, even me as a mom and a wife, is just trying to balance and navigate this life, like, and do everything well. And I also believe one of the challenges that's still in Kenya is some women have not been empowered enough to get the skills that they need to get the jobs that will give them the income that they need to survive. Um, right now in Zia, we're running a training program in Nandi County, which is where I'm from, where we are empowering local tailors by upskilling them with the aim of employing them. So right now we have 7 tailors just in the local community, learning how to make clothes with good finishing, learning how to make good quality clothes that even if for whatever reason we don't end up employing them, that they can go out there and make fully good quality clothes that can give them an income. So I believe just that education and also balance and support will really go a long way in empowering women.
And that's really wonderful work you're doing. My
Thank
question
you.
is, let's say someone wants to support this goal you have to empower women. How can they, apart from purchasing Zia Africa
Mm.
clothes, how else can they help you and support your goal to empower women and even the sustainability goal?
Okay, so number one, you can shop from us. I can leave my website on the chat box. It's ziaafrica.com. Number two, if you're interested in maybe funding our projects or speaking more about the work we're doing, I'd be very open to it. And we have a big goal. The goal of 1,000 tailors by 2040 is not a joke. That's about 60 tailors a year. Training, 60 tailors a year, 65 tailors a year. So if you have any skills actually as well, in tailoring or in training, or you know someone who would be interested in such a project, I'd be very interested in talking. So I think there's many areas that we can collaborate, and I'd be very happy to collaborate with like-minded brands.
Running your business, Zia Africa, like any other businesses, obviously you face some challenges and opportunity. You also encounter some opportunities. So could you please highlight some of the challenges that you face when running your business, and also, for example, someone who is doing what you used to do, importing, and they want to now come into
Mm.
manufacturing locally. So, what were the
Mm.
biggest challenges you faced when transitioning from selling second-hand clothes to running your own fashion label?
Let me tell you, the challenges are still there. I believe there'll always be challenges, but the key challenges that I faced during the transition was one, financing. It's costly to run your own production house. It's not the same as importing or secondhand clothing. That means you have to buy machines, look for a spot, many things that come into play. So I would advise anyone who is looking to um what do you call it, to transition into made in Kenya, or anyone who's looking to join the industry, is to find a financial partner or a mentor who can help you grow slowly, because I grew very organically for the longest time. But because I kept my books, by the time I was transitioning into Made in Kenya, I was able to get a loan from a bank. So if you're keeping your books from day one, even if you're selling one dress a month, just keep those books. They'll really go a long way as you transition. Um, I feel like that's one of the major challenges most fashion brands have, and I still have it as I try and fundraise, just getting people who can back you up and, believe in your vision as a fashion brand that's looking to scale. Number two is looking for local talent. Finding local talent is such a task. Even till now, I have an incredible team. My team is amazing, but I can't tell you how difficult it's been trying to find the right fits, trying to find tailors who are reliable, who are skilled, and who we can also afford as a growing brand. So that's a challenge that's there in the industry that I encountered. And I'd like to say there's not enough information for fashion brands trying to transition, or fashion brands trying to dip their foot into the industry. So right now we have an attachee program where we are taking university students who have done fashion, just letting them see, okay, what is it like to run a fashion brand? But I don't know how many brands are doing that, and I don't know how many attachees we can take. So I think platforms like this, like BAF, are so great in terms of educating upcoming designers and industry players on, you know, what is it really like on ground? I didn't have this when I was transitioning. I was just Googling, Googling everything and hoping for the best. So I believe what you guys are doing is awesome, and it's going to be very impactful for very many individuals. Yeah.
So my next question is in regards to your future vision. So like you've mentioned, one of your goals is to have 1,000 tailors by 2040. Are there any goals that Zia Africa has for the future? Maybe let's say the next 5 years or so.
So apart from employing 1,000 tailors in 15 years, I guess, 14 years, I think awareness is a big goal of ours. We really want to champion sustainable fashion, the importance of it, the impact of your decisions. And we actually have a line coming out on Monday, a Zia home line, which is made from hand-woven fabric sourced in Makueni County in Kenya. So I think one of the things I'm trying to do as well is diversify our offerings in terms of sustainability. I'm multifaceted, so I don't want to limit Zia to just being a fashion brand. Now we have the Dahlia. Monday we're launching Zia Home. Maybe soon we'll launch Zia Men, which is something that the men have been asking for. So I'm not limiting us, but for now, our biggest goal is just creating as much employment as we can for women and youth in our local communities.
So the last segment I'd like us to talk about is advice to aspiring fashion entrepreneurs.
Well, I would say just start. That would be the first piece of advice. I think there's lots of people with ideas, but executing those ideas is usually the challenge. And I believe you learn a lot once you're on the ground. Sometimes you feel like you want to do a lot of research, then you start. But a lot of the learnings I've had is from the many years I've been in the industry. So if I had said that I won't start till I'm ready, I would have never started. So that would be my number one. Sorry, just a second. I'm in a meeting. I'm coming. Sorry.
Like
I'll
you
come.
said, balance.
Yeah, balance. I'm
Balance.
the room. Uh, so yeah, so just start. The second one I'd say is test with your friends and family. So a
Mm.
lot of the designs I initially did, even till now, I'll come home with them and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And get their feedback. They'd say, okay, that zip is not closing nicely, or whatever feedback they'll give you. But use your family and friends as much as you can to get as much feedback as possible, especially in the initial stages. Um, just a second, sorry guys. Yeah, so just start and then test with your friends and family. And then I'd say start small as well as you grow. Yeah.
Thank you. So, also in regards to aspiring entrepreneurs, my other question would be, how important is it to have like a strong educational background? For example, how you mentioned your experience studying community development has helped you in running your business in one way or another. So, if someone is aspiring to take on such a task like starting their own brand, do you think the educational background is necessary, or can they just start and then learn from there?
That's a really good question. Uh, I think you definitely need some educational background, but it's not a must. I would advocate for you to study what you're passionate about, whether that's fashion or business or community development, whatever you feel will help you in achieving your goals. At the same time, you can also learn a lot from experience and from the ground. I have a lead designer, so I've not studied fashion itself, but I've learned a lot from her. So whereas I don't have that technical skills, she does. So even if I have a design, because I have many designs in my mind, if I have a design and it's not making sense, she can help me make sense of it. So until that point, you might have to get as much information and education as possible before you can hire someone of that talent. So yeah, I think that's why my passion is mostly to create employment. because that's where my background lies. Yeah.
So those are all the questions that I had prepared, and I'm sorry once again for the sound issues. I hope now everyone can hear me properly. So we're going to open up the forum for people. If anyone in the audience has any questions for you, please feel free to leave them on the chat, and then we can go through them and answer them.
Okay, I think I'll start. I have one question actually for
Mhm.
you, Zia. Um just looking to understand a bit who your current customers are. If you can kind of paint a picture of what their profile may be. Um I know that finances is a big motivating factor in terms of what people choose to purchase, especially when it comes to fashion. Um, so want to get a sense of kind of who your customers are, and also just kind of ask how you are competing with, I guess maybe more like Chinese imports, because I know those will probably definitely be cheaper. So just to understand how you're able to run a successful, sustainable brand in Kenya and do well.
In terms of competing with Chinese brands, I believe that's our biggest competition right now. Fast fashion. There are so many in town, our local town, all pretty much selling the same things, very cheap. You wear them once, they tear after one wear. But I believe for us as the Africa, one of our missions is to really educate our customers. I say less is more. So basically saying you don't have to buy a dress every weekend when you're going out. You just need to buy one or two nice pieces that you can have for a long time, that you can wear in multiple ways and that are timeless. My issue with fast fashion is that they move with the trends. So someone drops a line on the runway. By next week, a big fashion brand has dropped it in their shops, obviously a knockoff. And people love that. They love moving with the trends. But we as the Africa are selling timeless fashion. So that's our constant message, just trying to educate our customers. Here's why you need to buy from us. You're going to have this piece for a long time. It's been made to last. It's good quality. We are paying our workers fairly. So just constantly reminding them of that is important. And I feel we have a long way to go, but definitely the financial factor, as you're mentioning, plays a key role in the decision to shop from us versus a shop that's selling a piece of clothing for $10 or less. In terms of our profile of our consumers, it's the middle-aged woman between the ages of 25 to 40, who's middle class, middle upper class. They do care about fashion. Uh, some do care about sustainable fashion, and they mostly go to brunch on the weekends. They go for weddings. They have children, maybe one or two, could be newly married, um, have a job. And I believe our profile has also changed over the years from when we started. Remember, I started when I was in campus. So
Yeah.
from when I was 20, the styles I used to bring versus now that I'm a mom and
Yeah.
I'm looking for modest fashion and
Mhm.
I'm into sustainable fashion. So as I've evolved, I feel also Zia has evolved and so has its consumers. Yeah.
So we have a couple of questions on the chat. I'll start with the
Mhm.
first one.
Mhm.
So Isha is asking, can Zia collaborate with recent fashion graduates to come up with a clothing line? Are you open for collaborations?
Yes, I absolutely love that idea. Love that idea. Um, maybe I can leave my email after in the chat.
So if someone is interested in collaborating with you and working with you, they could always reach out to you via email and try and set it up.
Yes, please reach out. I believe there's always room for collaboration, and I'd love to get some young, fresh ideas. Actually, most of our employees are Gen Zs, so I'm sure there's something great we can create together. I'll just leave my email below and then we can chat.
So the next question on the chat is thank you for the tips. Looking back as an entrepreneur who's had to create the Zia brand from scratch, can you say the starting years were harder in terms of how engaged you are than it
Mm.
is now, or is it more engaging when the brand is bigger?
Yes. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to think of it. So initially when I started, I had to do a lot of the manual tasks. Like I was the one on social media, I was the one modeling, I'm the one packing the orders, running, everything is me, one man show. Which was very time consuming. So I didn't have a lot of time to strategize or think about our goals or anything like that. Now that we have grown and I've built a very reliable team, I don't have to be, I'm not the one packing, but I feel as if it's more demanding in that our customers, we've grown our customer base, and I feel our customers always expect more from us. So I feel I spend a lot of time thinking, which to me is a lot of work, because you have to always outdo yourself and always be ahead of what's happening, be adaptable, um, have good strategies that ensure you retain your customers as well as ensure you acquire new customers. So would I say in terms of whether it's harder, maybe I'd say, okay, physically it's harder to to do the other things I was doing. But I find now trying to grow the brand to now, global recognition and beyond Kenya is a task um that I had not anticipated for. And even leading a team, I don't know, I feel like if someone told me this is what you're going to sign up for, I don't know if I would have really signed up for it seriously. But I'm loving the journey. I'm loving learning. I'm loving leading a team, a very capable one. So I believe it's all, what would I say? I would say there. Yeah, I don't know how to quantify it, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you. So the next question is from Aaron. So he's the founder of RF Cakes. It's a streetwear retail store based in Nairobi, Kenya, and he's also a student at Kenyatta University. So in the
Mm.
recent years, he's seen a lot of collaborations, and the latest is with Nike with Lego and Nike with Jacqueline. So what are your thoughts on collaborating, especially because from what he's seen and learned today, Zia is more of a luxury line and a minimalistic aesthetic. So how do you approach collaboration?
Well, we've only had maybe one collaboration, if I'm not wrong, which was in 2020. And that was with an influencer. I think I'd be very open to having dialogue on what a collaboration would look like with a streetwear store or even graduates from uni. So again, I'll just leave my email, then we can speak about it and see if this is something that we can explore together.
So the next question is, do you do interviews for individuals looking forward to working on your design team? And if yes, what are some of the requirements?
Yes, we do interviews for individuals looking to join our design team. The requirement is that you've done a degree or you're about to complete a degree in fashion. And we usually post on our social media when we're looking for interns or designers or cutters. I believe right now we might be at full capacity, but within the next month or so, we'll definitely be looking to expand our team. So the only requirement would be that, yes, you've done a degree or you're in the process of completing your fashion degree. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, as you're leaving your email, could you please leave maybe a link to your socials so that
Yeah.
where people can follow and then look out for the calls you put out for designers and collaborations, etc.
Okay.
And also, my other question would be, for instance, if someone hasn't done a degree in fashion and let's say they have manufactured, are they still could they still qualify? Maybe they've done some design on their own, a line or two. Do they still qualify, or do they still need to seek the education before approaching you for collaboration?
Is that to join the fashion team or just to join the team?
To join the
The
fashion.
design team, sorry.
Yeah.
I think to join the design team, you have to have a bit of design background. Whether that's a diploma, actually, a diploma is also okay. Just having some sort of skill that's from an institution.
So the last question is from Kalai. They're saying what motivated you to scale up, and what point did you feel like the business was ready for expansion? And she also gives you a shout out that you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Kala. Hilai, what motivated me to scale up? I think I joined a business course, and I found a mentor who was very, very ambitious. So at that point, by the way, I was selling like 16 pieces a month, like very few. And she was like, what if you bring, that time I was still importing, what if you bring 100 dresses? And I was thinking, who is going to buy 100 dresses? Like I was like 100 dresses of the same, like the same design, same everything. And she's like, yeah, why don't you bring them and see? And I feel for me, that was the time my mind really opened up. Before then, I just used to see like, this is like a side hustle. This is just something that can bring me a small income. When that happened, I was also pregnant. So obviously your child is coming, you're thinking, okay, I need to provide for my new baby. What else? How much more can I do for this brand to make it something? So I feel like it took me a long time, and I'd like to say that a lot of the business journey is just mindset and dreaming big. So until that point, I'd not dreamed big. So obviously, when I now brought in 100 dresses and we sold them, my mind really opened up to the possibilities of what this brand could be. And I believe for anyone here who's in fashion, one of the biggest or greatest gifts you can give yourself, or even if you're not in fashion, but you're in business or you have an interest in growing, is don't limit your mind. Don't limit your mind as to what you can accomplish. Don't limit your mind as to how much money you can make. Don't limit your mind to what your current situation is. And I believe if I knew that 10 years ago, right now, Zia Africa would be somewhere totally different. But also God's timing is the best timing. So I believe one of the things you can start doing right now is just start believing in yourself. That's it. Start believing in yourself and believe that anything is possible. Yeah. Thank you for the lovely encouragement.
So I'm just if there are if no one else has any questions left, I would like just to read some of the things posted on the chat. Isha agrees with you that mindset is key. And Rahab says you're such an inspiration to many, and may God bless you and bless your vision. And Mercy also is repeating your words for don't limit your mind. And thank you, Zia. And also Joy Ashley, she's saying, hi Zia, I don't have a question, just a compliment. I love how passionate you are with what you do, and your humility has really amazed her today, and God bless you. And also Kilai says thank you for answering her question. Yes, and also me on behalf of BAF, I'm very grateful that you honored our invite and everything that you've shared with us today. And we can't wait to see the wonderful work that you'll continue doing. I'm going to hand it over to Udochi to close up. But yeah, once more, just thank you so much just for being here and for answering our questions.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lorraine, for taking that session. I enjoyed it. And thank you, Zia, so much for being an open book and really just being authentic. That's what we can only ask of our speakers, again, so that we can all learn together from others' experiences. And hopefully we can also help you as much as we can as you continue to grow your brand. We look forward to seeing more from you, even as you launch. Are you guys launching that today? The home brand, is it today or tomorrow?
On 2nd of September. So guys, be on the
Okay, so
lookout for home
next
line.
week.
Yeah,
Okay,
on Monday.
okay. Okay, so please send us those details so that we can also share it on our social media, via email newsletter to others, because we will definitely love to support you as much as we can. So thank you again, and thank you to everyone that was a part of this. Thank you for staying the whole time. Thank you for your questions, for your contributions. And I'm not sure how you guys heard about the event, but I hope that you will follow us on our social media handles. We're mainly on Instagram, even though we're across various platforms. But Instagram is our main platform that we use to engage. We are at Building African Fashion there, so you can find us on that handle. But also now that we have your email, we're gonna send you guys follow-up messages so that you guys can also connect with us further. And we'll also share with you future sessions that we have coming up. So thank you so much again. We appreciate you all being here. And with that, I will let us close the session out.